For 3 days, soldiers have been dying in the snow outside the city of Tarvalon. An army of legendary warriors, the Aiel, has burned a path to the gates of civilization. Now, 2,000 veiled fighters burst from the tree line. Waiting in the dark are a lone swordsman named Lan and his mentor, Bukama. They are physically spent, their steel armor slick with frost, staring down an enemy they know they cannot defeat in a direct fight. Their tactical position is a gamble. Lan's force is the anvil, meant to hold the Aiel in place until a massive cavalry charge strikes from behind. But the cavalry is nowhere to be seen, and 2,000 Aiel are closing in. Lan does not hesitate. He draws an ancient, unbreakable sword and settles into a state of total focus. He has already accepted that he and his men will likely die in this field. For the men on the ridge, the war is no longer about maps or grand strategies.
It's reduced to the biting wind, the weight of a spear, and the physical reality of waiting for an end marching toward them. 3 leagues away, the setting shifts. Inside the White Tower, the grit of the battlefield gives way to polished, freezing marble halls, the seat of the world's most powerful institution. 2 apprentices, Moraine and Suan, stand at rigid attention in a drafty study. They are shivering in thin white dresses, isolated from the fighting taking place just beyond the city walls. The room is heavy with silence. The leader of this order, the Amyrlin Seat, and her keeper, Gitara, sit paralyzed. Gitara holds a pen over dry ink, staring blankly as the muffled sound of war trumpets echoes through the windows. The contrast is absolute. While thousands of soldiers bleed to hold the city's gates, the actual shift in the world's future is occurring in this quiet, ink-stained room, far from the reach of any sword. Back on the field, the Aiel close the distance. They reach the lethal mark, coming within striking range of Lan's outnumbered archers. Then, something happens that no veteran can explain. Instead of attacking, the 2,000 warriors halt. In unison, they raise their spears and shout a single phrase in the old tongue. Elaine, one man alone. The Aiel immediately wheel around. They break into a rapid jog and head east, abandoning a victory that was already theirs. These are the most ruthless warriors in the world, and they did not retreat out of fear. They abandoned a continent-spanning war for a reason that Lan and his men cannot begin to comprehend. To find the answer, we look to the exact second the Aiel halted. Inside the White Tower, Gitara jolts upward, knocking her inkwell across the desk. She screams a final foretelling. The dragon has been reborn on the slopes of Dragonmount. He is taking his first breath. And with those words, Gitara drops dead into Moraine's arms. Magic is split into 2 halves. The male half is covered by the Dark One's taint. Any man who touches it suffers incurable madness. This infant can stop the Dark One, but his madness will shatter the world in ruins. Gitara's death transforms a vision into an immediate crisis. The Amyrlin binds Moraine and Suan to silence, knowing that if the world learns the dragon has returned, the resulting panic could be as destructive as the child himself. The secret is a heavy burden. Back in their quarters, Moraine and Suan frantically practice their magic, weaving elemental threads just to force their minds into a state of composure after realizing the horror of what they now know. Their isolation is broken by a summons. In an emergency assembly, the Amyrlin addresses the apprentices with an order that sounds like simple wartime charity. She instructs them to enter the refugee camps and offer a massive bounty of gold to any woman who has just given birth, recording every name and hometown in meticulous detail. But Moraine and Suan know the true nature of this search. It is a covert dragnet. The Amyrlin is mobilizing her order to find the infant dragon before the rest of the world realizes he exists. The Aiel war is over, but the conflict has merely changed shape. Out in the snow, Lan sheathes his sword, unaware that Moraine and Suan have just stepped onto a hidden chessboard that will decide the fate of time itself.